The short story is, I guess 42, 43 years ago, I started collecting these stories. And maybe 5 years ago, I opened a computer file and found hundreds of pages of these sayings and stories and figured out how to print them in a way that I could manage and use them. And I found a lot of neat things there. And in my life, I've also enjoyed folding paper, and I've enjoyed string. I can tie some pretty interesting knots. And I started putting these stories together in a scroll form. Some of them, like this one's a third of a page. This one on detachment's a half a page wide and 4 or 5 pages long. Anyway, I wanted to share some of these stories with you, and I want to start with the one on detachment since, my experience with that has been really interesting and really positive. I've given this out in the form of note cards too, and I've actually had people stop me on the street to tell me about how those note cards mattered in their life. So anyway, here's the scroll on detachment. A lot of these things are fairly indirect. In other words, they actually require you to think and agree or disagree. And this set of statements is one of what I'm talking about. Obedience is doing what you're told regardless of what is right. Morality is doing what is right regardless of what you're told. Detachment is doing what is right regardless of the outcome. And this is something, actually these 3 statements I've spent a lot of time with trying to figure out how they pertain to me in my life and the mistakes that I've made because I've been blindly obedient, or I've acted out of self-righteous morality, that I'm representing a group of people that may or may not be right. And then being detached is actually a freedom. And in that freedom, you have the ability to do what's right, I guess in your heart, regardless of the outcome, because you're the one that ultimately has to live with yourself. And that's why detachment is such a beautiful freedom. This is another beautiful statement. Detachment is stepping back and leaving room for God to do God's work. Think about that for a minute. I like this one. Are you a zookeeper for other people's monkeys? It's an excellent statement on demonstrating detachment. Are you a zookeeper for other people's monkeys? They're not even in your zoo. This was a great discovery. Detachment is releasing or detaching from a person or a problem in love. With greatest kindness, we need to mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically disengage ourselves from unhealthy and frequently painful entanglements with another person's life, responsibilities, and problems. Sometimes, for one reason or another, it's not possible to be kind. Boy, I was just thinking about that 10 minutes ago. Detachment is based on the premise that each person is responsible for himself. We can't solve problems that aren't ours to solve. Worrying doesn't help. We should adopt a policy of keeping hands off other people's responsibilities. We should tend to our own responsibilities. If people have created disasters for themselves, allow them to face their own proverbial music. Allow people to be who they are. Give folks the freedom to be responsible and grow. And sometimes growth is extremely painful. Give yourself that same freedom. Live your life to the best of your ability. Strive to ascertain what is yours to change, and stop trying to change the things that are not yours to change. Stop trying to change things that you cannot change. Do your best to solve a given problem if it's yours to solve. Stop fretting and stewing about outcomes. If a problem cannot be solved after doing your best, then learn to live with or in spite of the outcome. I've heard this a million times. Let go, let God. Live happily. Focus heroically on what is good in your life today. Be grateful in all things. Man, that's tough. Oh my gosh, that's tough. In all things. Learn the magical lesson that making the most of what we have turns it into more. Healthy detachment has been likened to singing in a chorus. If I let my mood or ability reflect the mood, ability of others, it's like deliberately singing along with someone in a chorus who is off key. Soon we could sway the whole because I am not strong enough or detached to do my part. If I'm detached, I will continue to sing my part to the best of my ability, regardless of the mood or ability of others, thereby helping the whole sound better. When I maintain my position, everyone benefits. It's not our job to fix, change, or judge people. It is our job to love people. The rest is in the Creator's hands. And at the bottom of this scroll are some thoughts about detachment, some things that I've put together that were kind of funny, like this one. There was a comedian who said it took him 3 marriages to figure this out. He says, always ask yourself, does this need to be said? Does this need to be said by me? And does this need to be said by me now? 3 marriages to figure that out. It's kind of funny. Sometimes you just need to be quiet. And here it says it's easier to keep people in line by appealing to their worst impulses than their best. Everyone has bad impulses. Not everyone has good ones. And boy, is that ever true. Someone said to me, and I thought this was a very kind, sort of a blessing. We had a long, deep discussion, and we were parting ways. I've never seen this man again, and he says, I appreciate meeting a man who knows what he knows and who knows what he doesn't know. A fellow named Morton Katz. Very interesting fellow. And I don't quite understand this one. It says winter is an etching, spring a watercolor, summer an oil painting, autumn a mosaic of them all. How does that pertain to detachment? I wonder. And I don't remember why this came up. And then I love these little shorties. Sometimes it helps to have the perspective. It's not my monkey, it's not my zoo. And boy, that is ever so succinct. Not my pasture, not my bull chips. Not my clown, not my circus. Not my chickens, not my eggs. And if you've got one of your own little short sayings, please share it with me. Life is good at bicyclesports.com. I hope this benefited you somehow.